Good morning guys and welcome back. Today is going to be a quick little episode for you of me putting this little SR20 back together. So without much further ado, let's just crack on with the time lapse and get this thing back together. So please excuse the state of this place, but this is where we are at. Turbo on, manifold on, all the ancillaries are on, wiring loom is on, the intake plenum is on, injectors on, wiring loom has been extended for tucking the wires for the injectors as much as possible, also extending the wires for the camshaft angle sensor, so I can come up and underneath there and try and hide everything as much as physically possible. Now it's a case of sorting out the bits and pieces in here for the fuel lines. So these will all be replaced with all new fuel lines to go in because they're in good condition, but why not change them whilst we're here? We might as well just do it. So got some new fuel line, I'll get all that in. Yeah, time to struggle with some old pipes, I suppose. So, as you just seen, we now have the wiring loom all in after taking it in and out quite a few times after I forgot a few bits that went on. Everything's where it needs to be, minus the fuse boxes. Now, as we know, the fuse box should be living up here. It's not going to be there anymore, so I want to put it down here out the way. So, what I'm going to do is grab my little catch can. Here's my expansion tank. I want that to sit in there, over that like that, so then when it's in the bay it's going to look all nice and clean and fresh. It's going to hide the unsightly relay box and fuse box down there. So now it's a case of drilling a little hole. I've already marked it up in there where I need to bolt through, riveting up the thing on as well. So yeah, let's get this thing mocked up and in. Okay, as you guys set up there, you good there? Good. Now the fun bit, will I even get this in here? Oh, it's tight. And there we have it, all bolted in. I've only got the one bolt in there at the minute. I've made this little bracket up, which is going to go underneath and bolt to the bottom half of this. And they're going to drill through the other side of this panel here. Rib nut on this side, so then when I unbolt this, it's going to be very easy to unbolt from this side, no problem. For general maintenance, there shouldn't be any maintenance in regards to this sort of thing, but just in case there is, I can get to it quite easily. So, draw the hole out of this one now, bolt up to this, and then find out where I've got to draw the hole to on the front of this, and put the rib nut through. Okay, so that is all the brackets now made. It should just be a simple case of bolting this in. And just like that, we have it all bolted in place. Very happy with that. That's sturdy enough. It's going to do absolutely what it needs to do there. So I'm happy with that. Wiring can be tightened up around here. Fuse box cover needs to be bolted back down. And yeah, good to go. So this is now going to be my feature for the rest of the day, doing the rest of the wiring loom on this, trying to make this loom fit this engine with everything moved around how I wanted to move around, so everything's going to be nice and clean and tidy. So I've got my chair set up. I've got a spare wiring loom so I can elongate wires to the correct gauge wire that's supposed to be on there. Solder iron set up, and my other bits and pieces, heat shrink and everything else is there. So this is my day. Hours later, wiring is now all done. That means the engine is theoretically ready to now go back in. There is some wiring I need to sort out on the rest of the engine bay here, but I can't do that until the engine is back in, and then I can relocate the wires that need to be extended and everything else. But the mess that was the wiring is now sorted. So let's get the engine lift back out, get this thing up on the lift, and start thinking about getting it back in the engine bay today. Much better. There we go. I can actually see the floor, and I can get the engine lift round on the engine out and get things back in there. It's been a long time since it's been looking like this. Now I just had the epiphany as well of how much of a bargain people are getting when they actually buy a vehicle from me as opposed to me working on cars, because there's so many things I've changed on this build that if I was doing it for a customer, it would have been a case of, okay, this is come within their budget, it's got to be done to this spec, and that's it. But whereas when I'm building cars for myself to then sell for you guys, it's always a case of I look at something and go, I changed my mind on that. I want to change those nuts and bolts for Allen keys, or I want to change the turbo setup for a nice manifold, or I want to change the bits and pieces on here. I'm going to paint this because I built it to my spec. So it's got to be done enough to a good enough standard where I would be happy to own these and keep all of these cars that I build, which is probably one of the double-edged swords of doing what I do. I build my dream cars and then I sell them. It's hard to let them go, which is why I'm struggling to let everything else go that I've got here, the R34s, the GT86, the Verossa. Although some of them are for sale, I've not really put much effort into it because I love driving them, I love having them. They're great cars. It's going to be a shame to see them go. Someone's going to love it when they do get them, but yeah, it's a shame for me to let my own dream cars go, especially the Verossa. But anyway, enough chit chat. Let's get the engine off of the stand, on the hoist, and get it back in there. And there we have one SR20 back in the SR80. On other news, now that it's done and dusted, it's Saturday. I've had a long day, I've had a long week. I decided to take this back home tonight. It's been a while since I got this thing out, so let's blow the cobwebs off this on the way back. This thing is filthy. Honestly, I've not cleaned this thing or touched it for so long. I feel bad. I feel bad for neglecting it. Look at the bird poo on it. Oh, what? Here's me thinking I got away from them doing this. It's been a while. Oh, one thing I did forget is the bride seats. Yeah, they're not fat guy spec. and this quarantine's really giving me some fat guy spec waste. So anyway, let's give this thing a quick clean off and then we'll set the GoPro up inside. As we can see, it is now dark, but the car is now clean and I can actually see out the windscreen. So let's go and get some fuel and get this place locked up. Back in the Skyline after a long time of not driving this thing, and I've forgotten how comfortable this thing actually is to drive. It's a big old bus in comparison to like the GT86, which is very quintessential sports car, so it's lightweight and just everything is yeah, it's very harsh to drive nowadays, whereas compared to this is a big GT cruiser, so it's lovely. Anyway, I'm going to set the GoPro up on the corner there on the roll cage and see if we can make some nice noises for you. Okay, I'm going to apologise straight away, guys. I do not have a lot of battery life in the GoPro, so I don't know how long this is going to last. I can't see the camera angle because I just can't log onto it with my phone, so it's all very hashed and thrown together. So how do I turn this thing off? Can't remember. I can't remember anything is in this car. Traction control's turned off. So it's very strange to be back in this after driving the GT for so long. Research and development to make the GT handle as well as it does, and I jump in this and it's just, I spent a lot of money of my own money to make this car handle as well, and the GT does it straight away. It's quite frustrating, but it doesn't give you the same feeling as what this does. I have missed this. Maybe I need to start daily driving this as opposed to the GT. That could be a future plan, I think. Okay, that's it. Enough for one day. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.